Are you still getting up tired and drowsy, unable to focus? Don't worry, you are not alone in this, and I've got you covered in this part. For new viewers, let me tell you guys, in part 1, I had discussed some of the most important sleep concepts and overhyped sleep myths, and this is part 2 of my sleep series, where I'll be sharing how you can create your own personalized sleep schedule so you can wake up fresh, focused, and full of energy every single day. Hope you have checked your chronotype through the link I shared in my previous video. If not, I'll link it again in the description. So without any further delay, let's get started. So over the last few months, I've listened to loads of podcasts, researched multiple citations on Google Scholar, pubbed and read important books about the science behind effective sleep. Based on my observations, I enlisted 9 evidence-based practices that I've inculcated not just into my routine to help me get an awesome sleep, but my patients have also found it super-duper useful. Let us call them super sleep habits. If you're really serious about correcting your sleep routine for the betterment of your overall health, you cannot miss these important habits, which are tried and tested on myself. I was super disciplined in my student days, always slept well and woke up fresh. But after having kids, my schedule was derailed and I suffered a lot due to lack of sleep. Despite my busy, chaotic schedule, if I can get back my perfect sleep routine, I'm sure that you can too. If you are still watching, you are someone really working towards a better lifestyle, and I really appreciate you. Stick around till the end to gain insight and learn lessons from my journey. One step at a time, and believe me, you'll attain it. Habit number 1, correcting our sleep duration. First thing I tried was to wind up my work as soon as possible on most days, if not all, avoiding excess time wastage in between my tasks. This would free up my time so I could sleep for at least 7 hours each night. There are tons of studies on this topic, but in short, you can understand that most research says that between 7 and 9 hours of sleep at night is ideal for a healthy adult. Most important large-scale study done in 2015 by the American Academy of Sleep Science and the Sleep Research Society clearly states, adults should sleep 7 or more hours per night because regularly getting less than 7 hours of sleep can lead to a load of bad stuff like weight gain, heart disease, depression, and charmingly increased risk of death. If you're not sure about sleeping 7, 8, or 9 hours, then the solution is pretty simple. Just experiment with how much sleep you need to feel happy and productive the next day. And beware, do not get too obsessed with getting 8 hours of sleep every single night. That actually might spike your stress levels, ironically making it more difficult to sleep. And this is called sleep anxiety. Hope you are clear with this concept that I discussed in my previous video as well. So in this way, my first target of attaining proper sleep duration was sorted. Super sleep habit number 2, correcting our sleep rhythm. So the second thing I tried was to build a sleep rhythm. I decided to set a regular time for going to sleep and waking up. I tried my best to actually stick to it. There may be days you cannot follow it, but that shouldn't be a reason to quit. I could not change my wake-up time since my kids have to be at school by 7. I had to wake up by 5:30 a.m. There wasn't an option left but to be at bed by 10 or 10:30 p.m. at max. The more consistent your rhythm, the easier it's going to be to fall asleep and to wake up. And this is because of the homeostatic sleep drive, one of the main systems in our body that determines when we feel tired and when we feel awake. This is powered by the chemical adenosine, which makes us feel this intense need for sleep. From the moment we wake up in the morning, adenosine starts building up in our body until eventually we start feeling sleep hungry. The more adenosine we have, the sleepier we feel. When we actually do get enough sleep, that drives our adenosine levels down again and we wake up feeling fresh. Okay, so why should we have consistent times for waking and sleeping? Simple. To make our adenosine levels regularly peak at the same time each evening, making us feel properly sleepy and ready for bed. And after 7 to 8 hours of sleep, this adenosine will be low enough that we can wake up fresh naturally. So the more we can invest in building this steady rhythm, the more we can bring our sleep schedule in sync with the chemicals in our body. For this, I did some practical things like setting an alarm for the same time every day and avoiding snoozes, trying to maintain my sleep and wake up time on weekends as well to avoid messing up my adenosine levels. trying my best as much as possible to not let social gatherings affect my schedule. Lastly, listening to my body signals and not delaying my sleep once my sleep signals are triggered during late evening. Super sleep habit number 3. This habit is going to answer the science behind why is morning sun so very important. I intentionally began chasing the morning sun as soon as I woke up, something I did earlier as well, but that was unintentional. Now you might wonder, why is it so important? It is because there is a second system inside all of us that affects when we feel sleepy and when we feel awake, a kind of internal 24-hour clock called the circadian rhythm, which I have explained in my previous video. The circadian rhythm generally looks like a wave, with our brain releasing the chemicals cortisol and epinephrine to drive our upward spike in alertness during the morning and the rest of the day, and melatonin driving the downward curve at night, making us feel sleepy. And the most important factor influencing this circadian rhythm is light, particularly morning sunlight. When morning sunlight hits the retina in our eyes, it sends a message to our internal circadian clock to trigger that release of cortisol and epinephrine, which makes us feel awake and alert. And the sooner you can get it after waking up, the better. Now, other types of bright light can also trigger our wake-up mechanisms, but our brain responds best to the quality and amount of light that's coming from the sun, especially when it's at a low solar angle. 10 minutes is enough, but on cloudy days, give it 20 minutes or a little longer. Make it flexible as per your time availability. Besides, this morning sunlight is also going to set our circadian clock on a timer to release the hormone melatonin in about 12 to 14 hours time, which is going to make us feel sleepy later that evening. So the earlier we get that morning sunlight, the sooner that clock starts counting down, and the sooner we start feeling sleepy in the evening. Super sleep habit number 4. Finding your best exercise time so it does not hinder you sleep. We all know that exercise releases endorphins, which also make us feel happy and more awake. Now, in an ideal world, I should be exercising in the morning, but I have always personally felt groggy and tired for the rest of the day if I exercise in the morning, so I'm not a huge fan of that. Instead, I prefer going out for a morning walk that gives me both the endorphin boost as well as the morning sunlight. I prefer exercise before my dinner. You can choose your exercise time based on your personal schedule, since any time for exercise is best provided you are consistent. Super sleep habit number 5. Is caffeine an enemy of our sleep? Let's find out. If you remember adenosine we were discussing a few minutes back, yes, adenosine makes us hungry for sleep. Well, to actually make us feel sleepy, adenosine needs to get picked up by our adenosine receptors. And what caffeine does is act like an adenosine antagonist, blocking those adenosine receptors in our brain to stop the sleepy adenosine signal from being processed. This is how caffeine intake keeps us alert and awake initially. But when the caffeine wears off, we get a caffeine crash as the blocked adenosine rushes through our receptors again, making us feel really tired. So, with respect to your coffee, you must do 2 things. Firstly, avoid coffee in the first hour of the day to naturally clear the adenosine that's left behind in your system. And secondly, try to avoid drinking coffee or any other caffeinated drinks after 3 p.m., just as I do, to stop caffeine interfering with our sleep. Everyone has different caffeine tolerances, though, where some people can even have caffeine late at night and still fall asleep easily. But doing so will definitely affect their sleep quality even if they get technically a full night's sleep. Super sleep habit number 6. Still using electronic gadgets till late at night. Well, I try my best not to expose myself to artificial bright lights after around 8 p.m., including my laptop screen and my phone. The reason we want to do this is because bright artificial lights mimic the effect of bright sunlight, confusing our brain that it's daytime and releases cortisol and epinephrine that keeps us awake. In fact, this 2018 study, which was published in the journal Cell, proved that light arriving to the eyes between 11 p.m. and 4 a.m. even suppresses dopamine, which is a natural antidepressant and makes us feel good. It also activates the habenula, which is the disappointment nucleus in our brain, lowering our mood. If sometimes using gadget is a necessity, try to use dim, dark mode, warm light settings. Super sleep habit number 7. Wondering why you aren't able to fall asleep as quickly as you wished. There's this science behind ideal room temperature at bedtime. Our bodies need a drop in temperature by 1 to 3 degrees to fall asleep and to stay asleep effectively. If using air conditioning, set it a little low at the start. If you don't use air conditioning, open the windows and make use of your fan to bring down your room temperature. You can also try a hot shower before bed, as it really helps reduce your internal body temperature. If you understood the science behind these sleep habits, you would start from now and have a regular bedtime and waking time to get around 7 to 8 hours of sleep. You'd view the sun just after you get up and maybe do some morning walk or minimal exercise. Delay your caffeine consumption for around an hour after waking up, and you'd stop drinking caffeine after 3 p.m. You would dim all of your house lights just a few hours before bed and avoid any bright screens, and you'd keep your bedroom cool so that you can fall asleep easily. To be honest, you won't be able to master everything at once, but if you try stepwise, your body will thank you for your efforts. This winds up today's video. If you haven't checked part 1, please do check it out. I'll link it in the description as well. I'd love to know in the comments section below, what is something that you've tried to improve your sleep, and did it work or didn't it work? If you like this video, I request you to like, share, and subscribe for more health info. Until then, take care and stay healthy.